Welcome to our channel. I'm really glad you're here. I'm Mike with Zippy Snap, and I hope we can craft a kinder, more creative world together. Today we're going to make this rainbow block calendar. This is really cool because you can change which month it is by just switching this block underneath. There are 3 of them under here, so you could choose if you want it to be May, for example. You just bring it out there, and you have this nifty little stand, and then you put the blocks in there and you say it's May 11th. One important cool thing on this is the 6 can be also be a 9, so you could say it's May 19th, and it's a good way to keep know what day it is, and it's a fun craft. It really is. On the difficulty meter, I would give this a 3 out of 5. That means this is a medium craft. You can download this craft template from zippysnap.com. The tools we'll be using today are scissors and tape. So with those tools nearby, let's get to crafting. So this one's fairly simple to cut out. You just are going to cut the edges of the blocks, and then we're going to tape them together. And that's how the blocks go. So you do always have an optional completion badge if you want to complete it, just to fold it over as a memento, a little token in case you ever have to get rid of your clock to say, hey, I made that. A little pat on the back. So this can do any date, any date. So you're kind of, if you think this is basically a dice block. So do you know how many sides a dice has? That's right, it has 6 sides. So if it has 6 sides and there are 2 dice blocks, that means there's a total. There can only be 12 sides, right? Is that correct? So if there's only 12 sides, I guess there's not 6 sides. Yeah, there's 6 sides. So if there's 12 sides, how are you able to get every date? You have any ideas on how you're able to do that? Because 0 through 12 is not every date, is it? Got the first one out. So you probably can see on here, 0, 1, 2 are repeated. And then the 6 is also a 9. So with all of those, there's a little bit of, you're able to do all the dates because there's no date that has more than 30 days, more than 31 days. So you're not going to have it's like January 40th. That doesn't exist. You could be January 10th, January 20th, January 30th, but you can't be January 40th. So with only 3 numbers, that could be the first number being a 0, 1, 2, or 3. I guess 4 numbers. It helps. There's a little less numbers you have to have for your dice blocks. But this is really neat. You can buy these in the store, in various stores. A lot of wood ones. You get all sorts of cool ones, but I think a paper and tape one's just lovely. And you can change it every day to what day it is. You'll know what day it is. If you forget what day it is, you can look at your dice block from the night before and just change it one day, and you'll have the correct day every day. It's also a good gift if you want to give it to maybe a parent or someone you know, a friend. They could really enjoy it. So we'll start with the dice blocks first. So you'll see there's a center dice block that each has 1 off the edge, and then you have this second one. I like to start by folding that far dice block, the farthest one by itself, and then we'll fold it again. So we're just going to fold it all together. And this is one of my favorite crafts because it comes together quickly. You feel like you're getting a reward in the sense of the craft is getting completed. So to tape it, I'm going to tape the 2 side, or the far side, the one with the farthest, put a piece of tape on it because that has the farthest to go. I'll just push these 2 pieces together, line them up, and then fold that piece of tape over. And now you have just the box edges. I'll do the same on this box edge here. Come right in here, line that up. And you can tape the other edges. I don't typically, just because this typically does the trick if you get enough. So now you have 1 dice block. So we'll do the exact same to this one. fold it. And it's easier to, before you start taping, make sure you fold all the edges. That's the ticket. If you're able to fold all the edges, it makes it a lot easier in the last step to put it together, which is taping it. So we'll do the two side, the longer side, tape it to the short side. So again, it makes this block. And then we're going to tape on the far edge here. Kind of reminds me of a Jack in the Box at this point where it goes pop out. I haven't seen one of those in a while, so I don't know if those are still made, but if they are, that's what it reminds me of. And now you have your dice blocks. So now we have three. These are month blocks. So the month blocks will sit underneath the dice, and that will tell you the month. So we're going to cut these out, and then we're going to just fold it just like we did the dice blocks. Nothing different other than these are long. These are longer and a lot shorter than the dice blocks. And I know they're a little close together. That's okay. What's your favorite time of year? Do you have a favorite time of year that you like? I know sometimes it's really cold and sometimes it's really hot. I don't know where you live, if you have a particular type of year, like a favorite month, a favorite season. Mine is probably typically spring or fall, and maybe fall. I would say August, September. It gets a little bit cooler. It's just a really nice time. It's not too hot, not too cold. It gets really hot where I live. It's a little cold right now, but it does get hot where I am. And sometimes I just want it to be a little cold because it makes me sweat. And I don't like to sweat. My wife will tell you that's not a good thing. I don't know what month you're born in, but this is a rainbow dice block, so you have all the colors of the rainbow here that were in our other projects that we've completed. So I don't know if you see your favorite color. Hopefully it's on the month that you were born, or maybe it'll be a different month and maybe you'll enjoy something in that month. But time goes so quickly. I'll tell you, it's already, seems like you finish one year and then the next year is already there. You just keep going. I got ahead of myself and I said bye-bye to a third of the calendar. Sorry, April, March, and February. I didn't mean to not finish cutting you out. So we're just cutting, and we're going to do folds. I always like to fold the edges, these small little edges that I'm cutting around right now, first, just because it's a little easier to fold those first and then come back and tape them. So I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. You'll have 3 chances to see it because we have 3 sets of blocks with months. So we'll set all the extra paper out to the side. And now what we're going to do is fold these small edges in first. So I'm folding these in and then push them back out. And then I'm going to start with the farthest down. This is the one with 2 down. I'm going to do a fold, and then we're going to do a second fold, and then we'll come over here to the one that's by itself, fold there, and I'm going to put a piece of tape here, bring that together, bring this one together. I always like to kind of make sure those edges are good, and then maybe if I want, I'll put one right there. So now you have this kind of open package, looks like a little, maybe like a candy wrapper. And we'll put that one right there, and use a nice small piece of tape, put the tape on there real firm first, push it over, and then push it down right there. And now you have your dice block. So we're going to do that a couple more times. So again, I'm starting with the farthest one out, and then I'll come back to the short one here. And I didn't even follow my first rule of I said fold in the small ones first. So I mainly do that because I got to remember to pull those back out when I'm ready, because if they're in there, it's a little hard to get out when you're taping this step right here. I'm going to tape the middle this time. Let's see what happens. There's not really a wrong way to do a craft. You can do it any way you want. And sometimes it's fun to do it a different way. That way you see what works, what doesn't work, and you can, find out how, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. So there we go. We got our second dice block, and we'll do this third one, and this will be our last dice block before we have a little housing structure. We're gonna set this inside of. So, all right, we'll start again. We're gonna go with the one that's furthest away from the flaps, the one that's kind of by itself. I'm gonna tape it. I'm gonna give it a couple extra pieces of tape since it's really long. Put a tape pin on each side here. And then for these edges, I always like to put it on the top first. Come down, put it there. And same here. And there we go. So our dice blocks will just sit right on top, kind of like this. That's how it will look. But we need to make our little holder. So this is our holder. So it's just a nice little way to keep it all together. So we're going to cut around these dashed lines. So there's dash and folded lines. So the dashed lines are where we got to cut. And you might get confused at this part here. It looks like it needs to cut here, and it does, but you'll see it's a solid line where I'm about to cut right here. So we don't want to cut that. So I like to cut around the whole entire image first, like this. And as we're cutting down this image, this one doesn't come naturally to me. I don't see it immediately when I start as to what this is going to become. But then once we get a little closer, I'm like, oh yes, that's what it's going to look like. But it's going to hold our dice block. It's a little house for our dice block, so to speak. Our calendar, because it needs a home. Everyone should have a little bit of a home. Home somewhere they call home. Even if it's just inside a place that you like to visit. All right, so you'll see there's dashes here. So we actually are just going to cut right here. This is where don't overcut. Don't cut that side. That's a fold. And then same here. We're going to cut right here, like that. And then what we're going to do is think of this as your base. We're going to fold this up like that. So now it's kind of sitting up. And then these two wings are going to fold in like that. And you're starting to think I'm doing origami. And then these two flaps right out here are going to fold backwards because we want the image side to be seen on both sides. So you kind of can see those two are going to fold, and then this one we're going to fold these forward like this, these two edges, and then they're going to go right in between there like that. And the easiest way to tape that is I'm going to put a piece of tape right here, and then come back and put a piece of tape right here. And then again, if you didn't see, you have this piece that needs to go right in between these two right there, like that. So with that in there, I'm going to put a piece of tape here at that base edge, and then I'll put a piece of tape right back here. You can also put some tape down here, but now it's like a little window seat. That's what it is. So now we can put our calendar in here. It fits right in like that. Put the dice box on top. So when your calendar's in there, it goes like this. And then you could say put the dice box on top, and so you can say, hey, it's January 25th. So it's pretty nifty, pretty cool project. Thank you so much for crafting with me today. I hope it brought you joy and helped with your creativity grow. Always remember that you matter and you are valued. I look forward to creating our next craft together very soon. Goodbye.